Life is deeply meaningful and plays a significant part in your journey. But a lot of times we end up judging the moment because things don't go our way without realizing the bigger picture. Because those moments become our greatest teacher when we look life backwards. So when you understand that everything is connected, you realize that this life is kind of an assignment for your spirit. Everything that you're going through is like a course for your spiritual nature because you are a spiritual being having a human experience after all. And those experiences, when everything goes against how you want it to go, those are the most tough chapters in that assignment. Just imagine everything just goes how you want it to go. Will you ever evolve? You will just stay the same. It's our mistakes, it's our wrongdoings that make us a better human, that make us grow on a spiritual level as well, that raise your level of consciousness. So those bad moments are needed for your growth. And if you look things from a much higher perspective, you realize that who are we to judge the moment? Because our perspective of life is very linear, is very limited. We act from a very small point of attention, that is the ego, the I. But life is much greater than your ego. The plan of the universe is much greater than your ego. So when you judge the life,
That's my
whatever is
dog
happening to
snoring.
you from the perspective of the ego, it will never make sense to you. You will end up judging whatever is happening. The most mature way, the most evolved way, in my experience, to deal with everything that's happening to you is to never mind what happens to you. You are always in control of what you do, how you react, how you respond, how you act in life, but you are never in control how the life will respond to you, how the circumstances will respond to you. So this is why when you never mind what happens to you, you are open to life. You are not judging the life. You understand that whatever is happening, good or bad according to my ego, it's just a perception. In the grander scheme of things, from the higher perspective, they are just experiences. We label them as good and bad, and those experiences help you evolve. So speaking truthfully, we are in no place to judge our experiences because those are just linear perspectives of what's happening with us. Your human mind can't comprehend the infinite nature of the universe. So when you don't mind what happens, you are not holding on to any one perspective and you are not forcing life to happen. You are letting things flow. You are letting life work itself out through you. And you can only do this from a deeper level of understanding. It can naturally happen. You can't force this. You can't force understanding. It blooms from within. So the only thing that you can do is work on your level of consciousness. Act from a center of consciousness, not the ego. And this is something that you don't even have to cultivate. This is just something that you have to come to a realization of because it is already there. Your point of awareness is right now revolving around your ego, the small I. And when you look from the perspective of that small I, nothing is connected. Everything is a coincidence. Everything, the life is acting against that. But when your life revolves around the true you, the consciousness in you, everything makes perfect sense because you don't mind what happens. You understand that the entire life is not under your control. Only your action, only your response, what you do is under your control. So when you start acting in this way, the outside reality has no control over you whatsoever. You become the co-creator of this life. You realize that the true power is within, not without. You no longer give any energy to the outer circumstances. You never try to change the outer circumstances. Because this reality becomes like a holographic projection of your inside world. Everything is a projection of your beliefs, of your energy. So don't pay much attention to changing the outer circumstances. Just focus on the inside world. And once you can change that, the outer reality will reflect that. It has to. It's an universal law. So never judge the moment. Whenever something goes against you, just take a pause and remind yourself that me calling this experience wrong or bad is just a linear perspective of the ego. This is just an experience, an assignment. And it's also important to remember this thing that the bad moments are the toughest chapter of your assignment. We tend to forget this at that time. Those moments consume our ego so much that we forget the higher perspective. We are unable to center ourselves from that point of consciousness. We become so entangled with the ego. So this is what spiritual maturity is all about. This is what you get from a constant practice of meditation. You are able to bring yourself back in the moment and observe the life from the neutral perspective, not from the perspective of good and bad of the ego. So don't mind what happens. Life simply is, and your perception of good and bad are nothing but set of beliefs that you acquired from the system. And this is not a philosophy that everything is connected. This is your living experience. Just look life backwards. All the dots will connect. Without any exception, all the dots will connect. So it's your choice how you choose to view the past, whatever happened with you. When you are in a disemboweled state, you see it as mistakes. But when you are completely integrated, you see your past mistakes as lessons. So it's your own perception. But the truth is, everything is connected. Much love to you all.